did is use the model number, and I got my brand new squirrel cage in this box. Show you guys what that looks like. That's a squirrel cage. That's what turns and blows all the air into your house if you're getting vibration or something like that. That's what I started hearing inside of here. First things first is you're going to turn off your power. Make sure your power's off. If you don't have a switch, go to your electrical box. Make sure that this is cut off. You don't want to get electrocuted. That's how all these come apart pretty different, but they're also pretty similar. So your cage might come off a little bit different. Even if you have a different name brand, I have a Bryant, it doesn't mean that this video won't help you. So this is an inducer motor. It's not, this video is not about that, but this is what blows your bad gas out of your house. If this motor goes bad that's in here, your furnace won't work. Another thing that beginners might not know is there's a little LED light in here that is solid, and if it's solid lit, that means everything is working right. And then if it flashes, say it goes blink, blink, pauses, blink, 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 and then starts over again, so that's 23. That's a Morse code. And you'd go over to your panel and you'd find 23, and it'd say pressure switch did not open, and it would tell you that that is your problem, and that's what you would search for. Next, we're going to go into here. I just threw that in here for people. This is your motherboard. For people that don't know that, there is a switch here, and if the power was on that switch right there, and you shut this and made like it was closed, then this would function and it would think that everything is okay to run, so you could test it. But be very careful, don't start sticking your fingers in there and killing yourself. Okay, next over here we got a motor, and then you got your squirrel cage, and this is the casing. We need to remove this unit, and in order to do that we need to move the motherboard. And my motherboard has 2 bolts on there that when I unscrew those, I'll be able to remove this panel that's holding the motherboard. And then there's 2 screws up here, one on this side and one on the other side. It's nice if you have 2 people, but I'm pretty experienced with this stuff, so I think I could do it. Don't snag any wires, take your time and go slow. Mine, I have to almost lift it up and over. Lots of wires here. It's coming. It's coming, it's coming, almost like a baggie. Just kidding. Oh, okay, so then I'm coming out this unit. Here we go. Alright. Most important thing is don't start pulling hard on these wires. Take your time. You got all day. And if your heat's not working, go buy some floor heaters. That's what I did. I waited for these parts to come in, and I bought 3 floor heaters for about $40 a piece, and my house was staying nice and warm with no issues. So, you know, if you don't want to get a panic attack over it if you can't get your part. There are supply stores, but they don't like to sell stuff to people because they want to sell them to the heating and cooling guys. I don't know, they got some kind of contract or something that they're not allowed to sell it to homeowners, but you could definitely find them on Amazon. So I'm gonna go over here and just show you guys what's going on. My squirrel cage was rattling really bad, and in between here, it was separating. So I bought myself some time by taking a flathead screwdriver, and because this was separating from these fins, and the little, hold on, let me show you. That plate that's on there, I'm calling this a plate right here, was getting loose and spinning, and it wasn't connected to this hardly anymore. So I took a flathead screwdriver and I banged in between each one of these very lightly, and you could almost see where it spread it, and it was able to hold on again, and I bought myself some time. But my motor's going bad. It was leaking oil. It's not supposed to leak any oil all over the place, and it was shaking very bad. So I'm going to go ahead and start installing this. These are the 4 screws you're going to remove. Also, I got 2 screws here that I have to remove, and 2, one on each this side. That way this plate will come off. So you'll see me do that in the video. And we're going to go ahead and do that and try to remove this whole unit assembly and start putting it all back together with the new motor and squirrel cage. I got all 4 screws unscrewed off of the motor mount. Now there's 1 screw over there that I'm going to unscrew right here, and that's going to separate the squirrel cage. Sometimes it could be like not soldered on there, but it can be very hard to get this off, especially if it's been on there for like 10 years. So you're going to have to just try to bang it out or work your way out of there. All right, now I'm going to slide the motor out. Yours might not slide out easy. It might. Mine was actually pretty rough. I was already in here the other day to get the model number and parts number to get this thing. So it was rough to get it out. I had to use a crowbar to almost pry the darn thing. So, okay, now I got the squirrel cage real quick. There's your model number right there, the one that says LA22ZA120. That is your model number. You're going to search that, Google it. You'll pop up with these things. Just make sure your pictures match your old motor. Over here on the side of this motor, you have another model number, and mine happens to be the 5KCP3PG and then a space V623CS. Those must match your motor. Also your specs where it says horsepower 3/4, volt 115. Make sure all those numbers, and then your RPM on the side there. If everything matches, you're good to go. Also look at your wires. Inspect your picture before you order your motor. It doesn't hurt. So if you see extra wires and stuff, hey, you're gonna have to question that. Ask the person selling it. Figure out stuff. You know, if you're a beginner, homeowner, or something like that, you're trying to do this yourself, it doesn't hurt to ask questions. All right, we're gonna put this in. Also take pictures and try to write down, remember which way stuff came out. Before you remove stuff, take a bunch of pictures with your phone. It doesn't hurt. So I actually put one of these in before, and I put it in the wrong way, so I had to take it all apart again. So that could really get you pissed off. Like I put this in that way, and that's not gonna work because I have to screw the bolt on the other way. Anyways, so make sure you put everything in the right way, take your time. So now I got the squirrel cage in there. I'm gonna have to replace the motor next. So I'm gonna start unclipping wires. It's pretty simple. It's all self-explanatory. You see when I come over here, like say I got a red wire. Let's follow this red wire, and to see how it comes off, it goes onto your motherboard, and we're gonna unplug it. Before I unplug it, it's not gonna hurt. I'm gonna take a big picture like this and figure out where every wire goes, or I can go backtrack on this video and see where the wires went, because then you'd be like, oh God, where did that go? Don't make that mistake. Take pictures, take your phone with you, and then you can't mess this up. I'm gonna go over all my wires real quick for you guys, just so you can see. You got your ground. I'm gonna unscrew that one. I got the red one, which is your positive. You got your black one, which is your negative. Blue, who the hell knows what that one is, but just make sure you put a blue one where it goes. Just kidding. I really don't know what the heck it is. But so you got red, blue, and then you got your white. Let's follow my white, and there's my white right there. And to unplug these, I can't do it with two hands, but all you do is push it upwards this way. So I need both hands to get these out. Very delicate. I don't want to sit here with one hand and start wiggling on that motherboard. So now I'm going to start unplugging them and putting in the new ones. Oh yeah, then you got your two brown wires that go to your capacitor right here. The two brown ones. Sorry about that, I almost missed those. Yeah, I removed all the wires off of the board. Nice and easy. And now I'm going to start putting on the other motor wires. Got both motors side by side. I'm going to start plugging in what needs to go in. So far I've just put one wire in the capacitor over here, and next I'm going to just start plugging in all the wires that need to go. We're going to pop this baby in, so let's go ahead and put this in. It's all color coordinated, so as long as you get the right motor for your right unit, you'll be able to plug it all in. It's common sense. Let's go ahead and put this sucker together. One more thing, I'm going to go over the danger points. Make sure you hook up a ground wire. Got to have your ground. And second of all, do not touch left and right on that capacitor with any metal objects. And when I do plug those in, I use something with a rubber handle. If you want to wear a rubber glove, that's fine too. Don't sit there and start touching this and that all over, and you'll get zapped. You know, you can get zapped. Anyways, over here I got everything plugged in. Red wire into the spot. You can see I marked it where the red wire went. I got blue and I got black, and then I got my white wire over here. I even took a marker and I marked it over there where the white wire went. I put a W, just so I knew it did. Actually, on the motherboard, I just noticed that it says BL, but it must be something up. I don't know. BLW is what it says. Anyways, that's all plugged in. I got these mounted over here. There is a little metal collar that goes over there. Let me show you guys what that looks like. It's around this nut. You see that? It goes on the top side only. For some reason, whoever put my motor in last time put one on the bottom side. I wonder if that added vibration to it. Not sure, but only one goes on the top is what it's supposed to be. So just like that. Doesn't even make sense why they put two of them. They don't even go in together. Make it not screw on very tight. Anyways, so gonna go ahead and start putting this together, and we're gonna fire it up, see what happens. Don't know. There is a flat side of the mount shaft right there. You see that? The reason that it's flat and it's got that little indentation is because that screw right there is gonna be where the flat side goes. I hope that makes sense to you. Put the flat side up against the nut so it can lock onto it. Got my motor in position. I made sure all the wires are not going to get tangled all up in there. Don't just think you're going to go mount this and you're going to be fine. Check this out. When I spin it, oh, now it's not. Oh, there it goes. It's rubbing on the inside. So before you go and fire this thing up, spin it with your hand and make sure that you're not getting any rubbing. It's got to be centered. So, but I like to mount my motors where, see how it's up and down? If you were to mount this motor sideways right now and try to screw it in, you're holding it up, you're putting pressure on those screws. So right now gravity is pulling this right in the center. So when I mount this motor, I know it's going to be, you know, in the middle, if that makes any sense. I hope what I'm explaining. Also on my housing for my squirrel cage, I have two screws left and right. How did I know which one to put them in? All right, I'm gonna move one of these screws and I'm gonna show you guys, especially if you have a used unit. You see where that like circle is, that dust? That tells you that that's been there for years and years. That's the only way you get that little ring on there. So then you know it doesn't go over to here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount that. Again, I got the metal casing screw right here and nothing on the underside. If you don't have these rubber things, make sure you go to the hardware store and go pick something up and explain to them what you need. Because if you don't, that absorbs the vibration. That's really going to cause you for your motor to burn out and start shaking later in the future. Give it a good spin. Make sure that it is not wobbly looking like a bent bike tire. Tracks over there. Can you see those tracks that they go in? There's actually two of them. One in the front where that red thing is, the blemish, and one way in the back. Both sides, make sure you slide them both in before you go in and think this is good to go. Alright, back where we left off. Okay, screw the motherboard back up. That's your inducer motor I talked about in the beginning, where it blows the bad gases out of your house and up and out, so you don't get sick and die. There's your LED light that's solid, which says everything is working correctly. It says it somewhere here. Continuous on. Control has 24 vac power. Alright. Your thermal couple is heating up. Gas is being released into the furnace next to your what we just changed right now. Your let me put the camera in there. If your blower wheel starts spinning and it's vibrating really bad, that means you got a bent blower wheel. Possibly a bad motor, but most likely it's a bent blower wheel. So make sure that you buy it from an HVAC company direct. Do not buy on eBay and Amazon. There's so many bent ones being resold on there, it's ridiculous. This is how nice and smooth your cage should roll. If it's wobbly or lopsided, it's a bad squirrel cage.